we're getting ready to go out for an evening together, and everything is going fine. We're getting dressed. It's going to be a great evening. And then someone says something, and then we are spun into a fight, a conflict, an argument, and we stare at one another and just say, how was our evening ruined, and how did this just happen? Pain happened. We all have pain. Without managing it, we're gonna get stuck. We've established the big idea, the thing what we're gonna aim for, this us, but we haven't talked about how to get there and what takes us sidetracked and prevents us from getting to this sense of us, this collaboration and this union and this we are a great team. Frequently, couples see themselves as, yeah, we're a great team sometimes, but most of the time we're kind of working against one another, or we're working all by ourselves. A fascinating thing occurs within the Christian tradition. We've come to appreciate the idea of pain and defense. From the very beginning of Scripture, pain and defense is seen. Adam and Eve, you see pain and how they protect themselves from pain. Marriage is having this idea that we get stuck. In psychology, Jen and I are going to be sharing with you what happens in the brain. And we can track it. We can actually see the transfer of this defensive reactivity in our brains. When a system, an organ kicks into play, it's called the limbic system. It's that part of your brain that Jen is going to describe that takes over when you're in pain. Pain is this fascinating thing that is our pre-occurrence, the thing that triggers our defenses. When we're in pain, and when I speak about pain, I'm not meaning like I stub my toe or I have a headache or a toothache. It means that I am engaging in things that are emotionally disturbing. It hurts. It feels like it's not fair. It's a triggering emotion. Anger is painful. Depression is painful. Anxiety is painful. Not knowing the future, anticipating is painful. When we encounter this isn't fair, our brains trigger something within ourselves and we have to react. It's as spontaneous as a sneeze or a cough. I'm fine. Something triggers me and I am protective. We are triggered, we are moved to that space in our brains when there is the experience of a painful emotion or even the idea or threat of a painful emotions. Sometimes our defenses are simple and they occur instantly. Pain and defense is the language of marital conflict. It's the thing that undergirds this undefined and unrestrained way of interacting between couples. Without managing it, we're gonna get stuck.
So let me explain a little bit about what neuroscience has to offer us in understanding our marriages, right? The human brain, it has two parts. You mentioned earlier, we have this limbic system, and the limbic system is in the back of our brain, or the middle back of our brain, and it is taking care of our emotions, it's taking care of our drives. It's causing us to make sure we get fed, right? Make sure we get sleep, make sure we get to move forward with our goals in life. And so it's kind of not fully in our control, right? The frontal lobe in the front is the part that we have a sense of control over. That would be reasoning, judgment, planning, that sort of thing. So when you are thinking about your marriage, I think one of the things that's really helpful is to think about you are interacting not just with each other as frontal lobes, right? As reasoning, thoughtful people. You're largely interacting with each other as limbic systems.
Whenever we encounter pain, we're going to instill or promote or produce this defensive reaction. I find it humorous. Oftentimes a couple will say to me, See how defensive she is? See how defensive he is? As though they're pointing out something bad. What they're pointing out is, see, this is my life partner, this is my wife or my husband in pain. It's like we're actually shaming them for being in pain, which then produces more pain. The presence of people's defenses becomes offensive to us. The spouse that says, look at this, they're being reactive, they're being defensive. I'm offended by their protections. Our offensive reactions then cause pain and perpetuate the defense. So we conduct this pain, defense, offense like a perpetual dance of marital conflict.
So we're going to spend this workshop hour talking about us and focusing on how we get stuck and helping us all understand it better. You're going to see in Stanley and Imani that they have a pattern of marriage where they kind of get locked in this cycle of pain, defense, offense. So watch for that in just a second. And then later, you'll talk in small groups further about how pain happens in normal families. And we'll try to work this out with those powerful verses from Colossians 3. So Stanley, what do you have for us?
Stanley here. Hey, Mark, what's up? Oh, really? No kidding. Let me check with Imani. Give me a minute. Hey, babe. It's Mark on the phone. He and Chris were supposed to take some clients out to go golfing today, but Chris had to drop out, so he wants to know if I can take Chris's spot. It's really important. It's at Kane's Mills. It's one of the best courses in the country.
What about cleaning out the garage? What about us spending time together? What about the shopping or the groceries?
I know I said I'd be here today, but this is really important.
Okay. I mean, what? You asking me to give you permission?
Hey, Mark, Imani and I need to talk about some things. Let me give you a call back in about 5 minutes.
We find ourselves here often. I think I can count on him, but then it turns out that I can't. I know that he's going to go golfing because that's what he wanted to do. I don't think he has any idea about what I'm going through, But if he leaves, then I'm going to be a miserable person here. But if I make him stay, then he's going to be miserable. I'm always the bad guy, and he's got no idea.
Imani, I know I said I'd be here today, but this is really important.
Here I am again alone. I never expect you to come through for me.
Oh, I didn't plan on Mark calling. I intended to be here today. Look, I've got a couple of hours. I can go clean the garage. Would that work?
You know what? Yeah, it can work. You just do that. Go on, have your fun, do the golfing. I never expect you to come through for me anyways. You can't even hear what I'm saying.
Don't say what you want to hear. I may have a different opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm not listening or I don't care.
You've got your opinions about everything, but you've got no idea.
No idea. Just like your parents have no idea, your sisters have no idea, your friends have no idea. No one ever listens to Imani. But maybe we do listen. We just disagree. Look, babe, I'll start cleaning the garage before I leave and then finish when I get back. Tomorrow, we can spend some time together.
I don't care anymore. You just do whatever.
So is this what you're going to do? Withdraw? I didn't plan on Mark calling. It wasn't my choice. But now that he's called and I have a choice, I think it would be a good idea for us work-wise.
You don't understand. Just go play your golf and I'll see you tonight.
Whoa, okay, that really sucks. I can either have my boss angry at me at work because I left him hanging, or you angry at me at home because you couldn't get your eyes off of yourself. So fine. I will stay home and clean the garage, but you get an unemployed husband. Great choice, Imani.
The anatomy of a fight, it's all there. It's all in how Imani and Stanley are interacting. It's probably very similar to the very same thing that happens to you or happens to me in my marriage or Jen and hers. First, let's look at Stanley and how he manages pain. Imani has already told us that she sees one of his endearing qualities is how well he gets along with everyone. Now he has a conflict. I have to get along with my boss and I have to get along with my wife at the same time. And they both are making demands and expectations of me. And I can't please them both simultaneously. Now let's go to Amani. She too is in pain. She's feeling the essence of herself as being, he doesn't care about me. I can never count on him. I could never anticipate him being reliable. Again, I'm all alone. Mm-hmm. And Stanley and Amani are here experiencing this pain together.
Yeah, this thought process that Amani is explaining, this I don't matter to you, that kind of resonates as a little bit of a life theme for her. And so you often find whenever you're dealing with your spouse or you're dealing with your pain in your life, that sometimes there's a theme about it, like people won't be there for me, or I'm not important to others. And that seems to be coming out some for Amani as you watch that video. Stanley is triggered and he responds, and Amani has some of her own pain and she's triggered and her limbic system's going off just as much. And that's how they end up in this conflict moment between the two of them, because they're both working out of their pain. She can't make Stanley want to stay. That hurts. She can't require him to attend to her needs. That's painful. So you hear her say things like, whatever, do what you want. Yeah, you're never going to change, that sort of thing. And what you're really actually hearing there is her pain, right? This is, I long to be valuable and cherished, right? This is what I really long for from you. But instead of saying it that way, we tend to say, you don't want me anyway. Right? And then you get this repeated pattern of defenses. So they've made this shift in their brain functioning. They've moved from problem solving and being a team and working together to kind of a fight or flight kind of space.
Yeah. The easy thing to do here is to point out who's at fault. As you watch them and hear us talk, you might be drawn to one or the other. You might identify with him or identify with her. Probably most would point to Stanley, like, well, he said it's Saturday. He said he would be doing a family thing and clean the garage, and now he's breaking his promise. It's like bad Stanley. Unless, of course, you're an avid golfer, then you could rationalize that one out as being justifiable and completely reasonable. Don't go to the one at fault. Go to what happens to them, plural, to the us, when one and then the other are provoked into painful reactions. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, as you see them as the example, go to what happens with you. Go what happens with you and your wife, with your husband, with your partner. Think about how we might be provoked and provoked corporately, communally into this pain. Today in the workshop, we're going to ask you what creates strong reactions outside of your marriage.
Please.
The reason we want to focus on the outside reactions is because we want to protect you from unraveling right here in the community around the table or in this work context, this workshop context. So in other words, we don't want to provoke a couple argument right here and now. We'd like you to think about things that tend to get under your skin as irritations. Not caused by your partner, but coming from outside, like traffic, or long lines at the grocery store, or the frustration of the Department of Motor Vehicles, or taxes. The things that or the leaves keep falling and I spend my Saturdays raking. What a perpetual, futile act this is. I'm just gonna have to do it again. And when you have that emotional what do? What kinds of things do you feel? Things like half-finished jobs or late arrivals or disappointing someone. Talk about being bothered by these unique circumstances and what things occur when you are bothered. You feel things.
So to do that, you're gonna look at your handout. On your handout, you're gonna see this big circle. And on the left and the right of the circle of it are two smaller circles, and they say his pain and her pain. In that small circle, I want you to write the emotions that you tend to feel when you face some kind of hard reality, like raking forever and ever. Maybe you're paying bills and once again something went wrong and there's not enough money, or you flushed the toilet and it went overflowing, yuck. So whatever it might be, when life feels intense, what do you tend to feel, right? Come up with an example from your life of something that's happened, and what do you feel? And then what your spouse feels sometimes too. So we're often inclined also in these kinds of groups to give advice whenever people share their pain, and we encourage you to not give advice. This is really just exploration, not to offer solutions.